Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a special tips and guide video for patch 1.2. In this video, we'll look into a number of Genshin Impact tips and also extra loots. So we'll be calling this one a cheat sheet summary. We'll be going through some of the in-game purchases and what are the best values and some of the trick that was shared by a viewer. So this is quite interesting. We'll look at a lot of better values in terms of 1 per dollar with those tricks. We'll also have a look at the reputation system and how we want to do those for a lot of Mora. And also there's a lot of comparison with the best Resin usage. There's ways to save experience and also Mora by not leveling characters to the maximum level. Discount methods with Paimon's discount shop, and also some of the previous tips and tricks which you can repeat turn up the quest daily for farming, for experience, and also for additional loot. There's also Resin free mining, there's Resin free daily artifact experience to be looted, and we can also purchase artifacts. So there's a lot of good things in the game that doesn't cost Resin. And this is a collective summary of tips and guide for patch 1.2. Once patch 1.3 comes out, we'll update this one, we'll add more information for the new players or the existing players. So hopefully you guys find this one helpful. Now before we go into the first tip about the Primogems purchase tricks and also the best values, keep in mind guys, not trying to promote spending, and we should spending with a budget. So keep in mind of your financial situations and never overspend. Now coming over to the first tip of the day, and the most important one is actually the Primogems in-game purchase trick. This was shared by a viewer to me, and initially I was like, how does this work? Then I look at the numbers, this is actually quite amazing. But keep in mind guys, this does have a limitation. We can only do this 6 times maximum. So let me show you guys what does I mean by that and what does the viewer mean by that. So if you look at the purchase, once you have purchased the double bonus, you're left with those bonus. So this is assuming you have purchased the one-time off bonus, and we're using those as calculations. You can see that here my purchase is shown in AUD, so we'll be using USD because AUD is surprisingly overcharged. And over here I have made a summary. For the $5 USD, we get 330 gems. So this is a package for $5 USD. And also the comparison is for $100 USD, we're getting 8,080 gems over here. And this is the largest pack. You can see with those two purchases, we're getting 66 gems per $1. We're getting 80.8 gems per $1 of USD. And what the viewer told me is, we can actually purchase multiple monthly cards. That's right, I was aware of this, but I didn't think it through. So if you actually purchase a monthly card, we get 300 Genesis gems right away, and also 2,700 gems for the period of 30 days after. So in total, we're getting 600 gems per $1. You can see there's a massive difference between the two. But we all know this, and we know this is the best deal. So what's happening is, not only we can actually purchase a monthly card, we can actually purchase them multiple times. I know this might seem a little trivial guys, but there's 2 good reasons for this. Because this is the best value, if I was to spend $5 in the game, I would actually prefer to stack that with the monthly card instead of buying a $5 package. Because $5 package only gives me 330 gems. And I know if I buy a $5 monthly card, I get 300 gems right away, and for the next 30 days, I'll be getting 90 gems daily. So within 1 day, I'm getting more value than a $5 package. And a few days later, I'm getting more value than a $100 package. So I know that if I was to spend $5 in the game, the best money to be spent is actually to stack the monthly card. And notice that my monthly card is currently stacked 2 times. So I started with 6 days, and I went to 36 days and also 66 days. So over here you can see that I'm currently on 6 days with the monthly card, and after my purchase of the monthly card for $5 USD, we can see over here that I was able to get 300 gems right away, and then this also extends from 6 days to 36 days. This is quite nice because I'm getting the Primogems I want right away. I'm also making the best purchase of the best package in the game. And similarly, just to show you guys this is doable with the next purchase, I also made another purchase, so I went from 36 days to go to 66 days. And keep in mind guys, this is not trying to get you to spend in the game, but rather to find the best deal of value for you. If you do plan to spend in the game, I want to find the best low spending or free to play kind of cheap values in the game that is really beneficial for us. So what I mean by that is, if you're planning to spend in the game, and if you look at those packages, sometimes you just need a little more Primogems for your summons, or you just want a little more for the 10-time summons. And those packages might not be the best value. And this is when it comes that if we can purchase more of those Blessing of the Wrecking Moon, the monthly card, this may be a really good value. There's one thing to be aware of though. If you look at the instructions over here, you can only have a maximum of 180 days of duration. It cannot exceed this one. So they are aware of this, that people might stack this for a really good value, so actually limiting how much you can purchase. So you can purchase maximum 6 times for 180 days. Anything that goes beyond 180 days, they just give you the $5 package value, which is the 330 gems. Notice that they are aware that $5 worth is only 330 gems. This is not great. But if you purchase less than 6 times, you can get the maximum value, which is the value we had over here, which is 600 gems per $1. So the maximum times we can purchase is about 6 times. I know it's not much, it's about $30 USD. It's actually a lot in some of the countries, it's not that much in other countries. So be aware of this, guys. Not trying to promote spending carelessly, but spending with a budget and spending mindfully is quite important. We don't want to be promoting just to spend if you're planning to be spending, to go for the massive package or for the random package. We want to look at the best value of the package and get you the best value for money. So next time, if you do plan to make an in-game purchase, also consider this method. Because you get 300 gems right away, you also continue your monthly card. The downside is we do have to wait a long time to get all the gems. Now coming to our second tip. I'm sure most of you have maxed out your reputations with both of the cities, or very close to do so. Now keep in mind, guys, even after maxing out both of the reputations to level 8 for the cities, we can still get Mora as the reward for doing those quests. So 150,000 Mora extra every week if we do those. So let me show you guys what I mean by that. If we come over to the NPC over here, and if you speak to them, what you're going to see is, although you don't get the reputation level experience, you still get the bounty reward, and each of the bounty fight will give us 30,000 Mora. They set up to 90,000 for the 3 bounties. And also, if we come to the request for the weekly quest, we can also get 60,000 Mora by doing all 3 of the quests. So in effect, we still get a lot of Mora, and those doesn't cost any reason. So make sure we still do those even after the maximum reputation level. And there's a lot more Mora to be found this way. Now coming over to our third tip. This is something I was aware of, but I wasn't sure how this was exactly going to be beneficial. So what I mean by that is, we always spend the same resin for different dungeons and different items, but there may be a difference between the reward depending on your adventure level. We know that most of the artifact domains and also most of the boss fights do give a lot of good reward after adventure level 45. So we will go and have a look at what happens after adventure level 45. So one of the things I want to show you guys is, it's actually the leyline flowers. Those flowers give us a fixed amount of item drops after world level 6. So notice those flowers are giving us the fixed of the Mora. This gives us 6 to 7 of the books, 4 to 5 of the books. Those does not change. And because we will always be needing the Mora and also experience books, and we know they're fixed, what this means is, if we have the spare resin, those may be the best value for money. And let me try to explain this. If we waited for higher world level to do the better elite bosses, to do other monsters, we might be getting a better loot, because those scales with high adventure level. The ones that doesn't scale with adventure levels are the Mora flowers and also the experience books. So those are the ones I can consider be doing before I get to high adventure level. Now similar to the leyline flowers, this is also the case for the artifacts and also the talent book domains, but those are not universal usable materials. The Mora flowers and also experience books seems to be more universal for me, so we'll focus on those two in comparison to the elite and also weekly bosses. So coming over to a small example of this particular tip, I was currently adventure level 54. And I know if I do the flowers to get to adventure level 55, or if I wait a few days and do the daily commissions for the experience for adventure level, I will get to adventure level 55. And once I get to adventure level 55, I can get better loot from the elite, the 40 resin bosses, and also the weekly boss. So I was delaying this for the week, or even delaying this for a little longer. I will still do the weekly boss, but I'll try to get the next level. And for the elite boss, I have been avoiding them until I get to adventure level 55. Now you don't have to do this for adventure level 55. This can be the case for adventure level 49 and also adventure level 50. The slight increase of the drop rate may be very helpful. Now there is a reason why I want to wait for adventure level 55 to do those elite bosses. Notice this is a 40 resin elite boss with a flame flower. I am looking for the guarantee of a 5-star golden artifact. This can be the Wanderlust troop, this can be the Gladiators, which can be really good for Ganyu, this can be really good for a lot of the DPS characters. So notice that I'm going for the guarantee of the golden artifact. The drop rate of the Ascension materials don't really change much. Sometimes they even look worse at Adventure level 55. So those are not my priorities. My priority is to guarantee a 5-star golden artifact. Before this, with World level 7, I actually don't get the artifact guarantee. I get a lot of the purple ones, which is not great. So if I'm spending 20 Resin at the same time, why don't I just wait a little bit to farm those with a guarantee? And why don't I spend my Resin initially to farm the Mora flowers and also the experience books? Now, just to summarize this entire tip in case you guys find it confusing. So the question is, are you close to the next world level, whether it's level 7, level 6, level 8? So then consider delaying your fight with the elite and also weekly boss. Make sure we still do the weekly boss though. So what we'll do is we'll wait for the next world level. If we're strong enough to go to the next world level, we can benefit for getting better drop rate and also better loots with a high world level, especially at world level 8. And in the meantime, we can spend our Resin on the leyline flowers for the Mora and also for the experience flowers. And this is usually a safe bet because we'll always need those resources as we go with character ascension, as we go with everything with Mora. And to finish off, I'll show you guys, this is what happened. I actually farmed a lot of the Mora because I know I'm going to be spending Mora to level up characters, artifacts, and I farm a lot of the experience books for Shao and also new characters. So by farming those, I was able to get to Adventure level 55 with my daily Resin regen. And then I start to work on the elite bosses for the better drop rate. Notice we're still spending the same Resin, but I'm getting a little more loot this way. Now, if you haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so. Make sure you also turn the bell on for the latest news as I find more of them for us. You can see that we're really dedicated for Genshin Impact. We'll have builds, guides, tips, news, and events updates for everything that's Genshin Impact related. Now, talking about getting the most resource out of the game. So point number 4 is to not max level a character to the maximum level, to the level cap, because we can earn experience by killing monsters. All the characters on the party do gain experience, and this can save us more as well. What I mean by that is, if you go to a character, guys, and if you have a look at the character, you actually have to spend Mora to level up the character. Notice there's a Mora cost for the experience that character is leveling up, and this particular Mora cost is that 1 Mora for 5 experience. But if we kill the monsters, we also gain experience. And over here we do have a small demonstration video. As you can see in the video, in the previous stream, I was earning experience by killing monsters. And during this about 50-minute long stream, I wanted to compare how much experience I looted by killing my entire monster for the day. So notice my characters are gaining experience while in the party. So I was calculating, and the conclusion is that within about 50 minutes, I earned about 14,000 experience this way. It is not the biggest deal, but if you don't max level your characters, this can slowly pay off. So let me show you what's happening with my characters that's not max leveled. Jing has earned about 75,000 experience for free, and also Venti earned almost 100,000 experience. Similarly, I max level Ganyu, so she's not benefiting. And also Kachin's earned about 73,000, Klee earned about 60,000. So notice the characters are earning more experience just being on the team. And this not only saves you the hero sword and also the book's experience, it also saves you Mora, because it costs Mora by leveling up characters. It is not massive. I can be honest to say I save about 40 or 60 Resin by doing this, but it's not massive, it's something small. It's good to know that while we're playing, we're earning more resource. And this is quite important, especially for free to play and low spending players, because every bit of resource is really important. Now, coming to tip number 5, I had this idea in mind, but I wasn't sure if this is exactly correct, and it turned out it was correct. So this is the Paimon shop discount star glinter. You might be wondering, hey, what do you mean by discount? So let's say if we're going to buy a character. So let's come over to the Paimon shop and have a look at this one. So let's say if I was planning to buy a character like Vessel, and she'll be costing 34 of the star glinter. We know those are quite rare, and those can be very expensive if you're going for a character. So what happened is, if it costs 34 star glinter for a character, and if this character is a duplicate, so you already have a copy of the character, you're still going for the constellations. For my case, I was going for the Vessel constellation. And what I realized is, I actually receive a 2 star glinter refund by getting the copy of the Vessel as duplicate. So ineffectively, I'm actually paying 32 star glinters instead of 34. So this is because I got a copy of the duplicate. So how can this be helpful is that if we're actually counting how much stack glinter we have for a particular weapon or for the future characters, we can ineffectively count 2 extra if we're actually planning for the constellations. So while purchasing the vessel, I actually spent only 32 of the stack glinter instead of 34 because I got 2 refunded. And if I was planning to buy shelling, I know I can get 2 extra because of the refund. And notice over here, because I had a maximum constellation of shelling from the latest Ganyu banner, this also warns me to not buy this card anymore. So in the shop, it actually warns you if you have the maximum constellations. Because if you bought this one, you'll be refunded with 10 of the stack glinter, you'll actually waste 24 of the stack glinters. You don't get more constellations. So the shop warns you, and also they can be considered as a small discount if you're going for the characters. And now I don't think this is the case for the weapons, because the weapons do not give you stack glinter, they give you stardust, which is more easily obtainable. This is great if you're actually planning for your stack glinters and knowing that you get 2 back. This may be helpful if you're gonna buy 1 this month and buy the next character next month, because this way, if you're a little short, you can actually plan into the 2 refunded stack glinters. Now coming over to some of the older tips we shared in the previous videos, which I'm sure some of the new players are not aware of this, and also some of the existing players might have forgotten this, so I have listed them over here. I also have the videos for those particular quests, so we'll briefly touch on this, but we won't go into them in details. So what I mean by that is, if you guys did not know, there is actually 10 repeatable world quests daily, and we can actually get quite a bit of loot off them. So in this video, you can see me summarize how much you can get for free Resin using the relogin trick at the warp point. You'll be doing repeatable side world quests, and we'll be getting about 1,500 or even 1,700 for the Mora, and also some of the fine refinement ores. We can do this 10 times. So every day we can earn at least about 15,000 Mora for free, and also a lot of weapon enhancement. So this is quite nice. We can also farm the monsters for the monster materials. If you guys did not know about this, definitely come back to this video. Now if we're short on weapon experience, we can be mining a lot of minerals. Those minerals spawns usually 2 days or 3 days with a respawn period. The good ones, the crystals, spawns every 3 days. And there have been some videos previously I made about farming locations for different minerals and respawns, and in this video we talk about with patch 1.1. And also there's another video which will talk about new patch 1.2 locations. So if you come to those 2 videos, which will have them in the description, we can effectively to be looting a lot more minerals for the weapon experience. So there is the 2 days and 3 days reset with the game, and also the daily routes for the extra minerals. 2 types of minerals. One that respawns every day 2 hours after the daily reset of every day for the special NPC ones. There's also the stationary ones that spawns every 2 or 3 days with the mineral locations. So those 2 videos cover some of those. And if you guys are not aware, you can actually go into another player's co-op game and ask, make sure you ask though, ask if we can loot the minerals. You can actually earn additional minerals this way, and I've seen a lot of co-op players just join other people's game and try to loot their minerals. It's important that we ask because sometimes players might still want their own minerals. So if you join a co-op game, you can also get more minerals. So there's a lot of way to get weapon experience for free. Now I'm sure most of us will be needing a lot more artifact experience for leveling up those new artifacts we find. There's 2 ways of doing that. One of the ways is actually to loot for the artifacts that respawns everywhere. Now if we come to this particular tip video over here, I'll talk about the locations within the game that actually respawns artifacts daily. Those artifact locations respawn the grey ones or even the green ones. Those artifacts also give us experience for the artifacts. We collect all of those and we can get about over 60 artifacts daily without any spending of Resin. This is quite nice because this gives us a lot more artifact experience, and this doesn't cost any Resin. And similarly, we do have another video for buying artifacts for extra experience. We can buy green artifacts from the vendors, and it is worth it if you have the spare Mora. So what I mean by that is, we can be buying those green artifacts you can see over here from the NPCs. And in this video, I showed you guys where the locations of those NPCs that you can actually buy the artifacts. We had a look at the price. It costs 2,000 Mora for the artifact, but if you look at the price of the spending of Resin for farming those artifacts, and in comparison to farm the Moras, it's actually more worth it. So it's actually okay to buy those every week. They do spawn about 3 every weekly, and this gives you a little more value for the artifact experience. If you're buying all of them, you're getting 25,200 extra artifact experience, which can be a little more helpful on the side. Now, hopefully you guys found this tips video helpful, because I've been trying to find a lot of tips for us, and most of us are pretty veteran. We know a lot in the game, but I thought there may be new tips with the in-game purchase, there can be tips with reputation, and also the effective use of Resin. So I've collected everything over here up to patch 1.2. And before we finish, guys, make sure we remember to have fun in the game. It's not just about the grind and also farming for items. If any of the tips makes you feel uncomfortable or make you feel like it's a task and you're getting bored of it, don't do it. Those are still here and you can always come back to it. You don't have to force yourself to do those, because this doesn't need to be a job. This is here to be fun. And if you do have the free time, then go for it. If you don't want to do it, then skip it. Don't force yourself. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips, and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.